Oh man, what a beautiful view. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this right here. If you remember, recently I tested a Santa Cruz Heckler SL. That was Mitch from Cyclery Studios bike. And that was a size large and it had a pretty light build on it. And at the end of that video, I concluded that I liked a lot about the bike, but that if it was my personal bike, I'd want to beef it up and kind of try and move it up a category. So it happens that I got that exact opportunity. So this bike here is an extra large, and it is the XO Axis Reserve build. So it's got all of the fruit. It's got a Super Deluxe Ultimate Shock, Reserve carbon wheels, and on this particular bike they're wrapped in Michelin downhill casing rubber. And then this has got a Zeb fork on it, 160, which is standard, but it's obviously a step up in fork compared to what the stock builds come with. This bike was a media bike, but I've got the opportunity to have it for a bit longer, so I'm able to set it up for me. So that means the cockpit is how I would want it. I've got a bit of time to set up the suspension and play around with a few different settings. And then it's got that beefier rubber and beefier fork for the type of riding that I want to do. Plus it's in the extra large size. So I'm not going to talk too much about this bike because like I said, I'm going to have it for a little while longer. We can dive more into it at that point. So we're going to ride some pretty fun trails. Pretty techie trails as well. And focus on that for this video, but I'll mention sort of any observations that are different to riding that large bike with the lighter build, and then how this bike compares to my other Santa Cruzes. Riding in Sydney is absolutely terrifying at the moment because it's spring and all the birds are breeding. There's a lot of swoopy boys out. I took the opportunity to load what's called the mountain bike power profile onto this Fazua ride system. So still still 60 newtons. But it's supposed to be really nice and smooth power delivery. And I'm not sure what impact it has on battery life. I think it should be a little bit better on battery. Battery will be an interesting thing since this bike has got the heavier build on it. It's just over 20 kilos and the tires are heavier, stickier and slower rolling. So range will be impacted by that. I don't really know this trail. Oh, I think I should have gone off that rock when I've ridden it once before. But it was a bit of fun then. Very technical and slow, so really test out that smoothness of that power delivery. Oh, definitely could have got up that. Bit of a tech move coming up. Oh, surprised I got that in. I do like this power mode. I'd probably prefer to be in one easier mode for that stuff right there, because it's still a very generous amount of power, but it's nice and controllable. Okay, there's a new rock roll on this trail. Pretty cool one. Oh, that's it there. Looks unreal here with the backburnt bush and the new growth. I really dislike this next chute. not really a chute's fault. Now Sean reckons you try and go inside that rock. Still counts, right? Yeah, that's a tough corner. Cool, some steep rock rolls now. Let's see what these DH tires grip like on this stuff. Oh, ample grip. Slow for this bit. Oh, slimy down here. This is a pretty steep road climb, and obviously this is the area where the lower torque, lightweight e-bikes don't have the same oomph to get you up the hill. So you can't quite zoom up the same way you could on a full powered bike. But I'm in third gear from the top, and I would be in my easiest gear on my analog bike, going much slower than this. And if you're prepared to put in a little bit more, there's plenty of power to help you out. Ah yes, there's a drop here. Poked in the eye going off it. Ah! What a tight one. Sick. So something I've noticed about this bike is it's really quiet compared to, say, my Mega Tower. And I don't know whether that's the axis derailleur, the transmission, which is a direct mount. Or if it's just that, like, it doesn't have a swap box and maybe the stuff that's inside my SWAT makes a bit of noise, or it's a bit of both. But yeah, it's super quiet. It's also got a slightly chunkier chainstay protector because this is a newer designed Santa Cruz than my one. Or maybe it's just something else to do with the frame, like this one's full of battery and motor while the non-e-bikes are hollow. But found that interesting and pretty nice overall. Also goes nicely with the Fazua motor, which really doesn't make that much noise. Okay, so I'm coming up to the 10 kilometer mark. I've been riding for 40 minutes And I've used 1 bar of battery, which is pretty dang good, I would say. Full power the whole way. But like I've said before, full power on this is more like a powerful trail mode on a full power e-bike. Feels good there. Put these tyres to the test. They actually feel really good. I came out the other day and I had them pumped up a little bit too much. And I was just bouncing off everything. Didn't feel like I had a huge amount of grip, but dropped about 3 psi per tyre. And it feels like I could potentially go more, but I don't really want to put this carbon rim at risk. So we'll go there gradually. All right, next climb. Whoa. Jeez. Everything just wants to grab your bars. Whoa. Whoa, need to rebuild that jump. Bit of new work coming up. Sick. Oh, it's so much better. Oh, bloody awesome. I have to say, the only place I really notice the mullet is in those big berms up there. And it feels phenomenal. Like, you really whip the back of the bike around without it feeling like what a really short rear end feels like. So it's just got that sort of bit more sort of maneuverability and lean in those sort of steep fall away berms. Really, really addictive to riding that. The rest of the time, I don't know if I noticed it that much. Maybe a fraction less grip to the 29er out back. And then the bike just does feel a little bit different with the amount of drop at the axles being uneven. But I've done a bit more work on the setup and it's feeling pretty balanced now. So I feel like I can just get on the ride.